Welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about my Louis Vuitton Neverfull. I wanted to just run through why I bought the bag, the features of the bag, and a brief review of the bag. I purchased this back in, I think, the end of March, and I've had it for about 6 months now and used it quite regularly as a travel and kind of daytime if I need to lug a lot of things around bag. I just kind of wanted to also speak about the whole Neverfull reputation, I guess. It's kind of similar to my thoughts on the Givenchy Antigona, but yeah, essentially why I still purchased this bag in the year 2022 when the bag has been out for quite some time now, and as a lot of people would say, is quite oversaturated on the market. Spoiler alert, I don't agree with that necessarily, but I do admit that, you know, it's taken me quite a long time to purchase this bag because of the reputation that it had. But yeah, I'll get into that a little bit later. So let's just talk about the features of the bag first. As you can see, this is the Neverfull, Louis Vuitton Neverfull. It's by Louis Vuitton, obviously, and it's in the GM size. So as you can see, it's quite large. It's around the length of my arm, but I can put exact measurements down on the screen below as well. And I purchased it in the white and gray or navy blue checkerboard print, so that's called Damier Azur. I think it's modeled after the Côte d'Azur in France, so kind of more a Rivieran French summer vibe kind of color combination. This is essentially the reverse of the Damier Ebene print, so that is the dark chocolate brown with a kind of lighter milky chocolate brown print, but yeah, it's essentially the invert of that. As you can see here, it has the patina straps, or not patina straps, the vachetta straps that will patina over time, and I chose the kind of ballerina pink interior over here. As you can see, as Neverfull goes, it's quite well known, but I'll just kind of whiz through the history of the bag. This came out in the early 2000s. It is meant to be Neverfull, so like it's quite a large, substantial size tote bag, and it comes in 3 sizes: the PM, which is the smallest size, it's kind of a handheld hand carry bag, and then the MM, which I believe is the most popular size. It's around maybe like this much less space, and then the GM, which is the largest, which is what I have here. I mean, this is quite a classic looking bag. As you can see, it essentially has kind of an inverted triangle shape, and the checkerboard lines up like this at the seams. Mine doesn't really line up exactly, but I feel like it's quite difficult to get one, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really that bothered about the checkers lining up exactly, so I didn't really mind that. And then it has side straps over here that you can cinch in the bag, which is a large reason why I purchased the GM size, as I can go into more details later. But essentially you can kind of fold this in and then cinch it in so that it turns into kind of a tulip shape, I think, as you can see here. So it basically turns from an upside down triangle to a more of a triangular shape. So yeah, this is the features of the bag. It has a giant pocket inside within the interior over here. Let me just show you over here, and it runs the entire length or just the height of the bag, and it's got a really nice feeling zipper, to be honest. And then it has Louis Vuitton Paris, I think, written on the back right there, and says made in France, I believe. Yeah, made in France. And then it has a huge Louis Vuitton kind of embossed. It's got the kind of original store name, I think, on there over here. And then it also comes with these new generation, I think since 2014 or something, they now come with an additional like little handheld pouch, which I didn't think was going to be that useful, to be honest, but it has really proved itself to be super handy, and it attaches itself by a D-ring over here, as you can see. That can also be removed like this, so like this, so then it turns into a little bit of a wristlet, so then you can kind of carry it if you don't have a lot of things to bring with you that day. So I think I agree with a lot of the, people when they say this, but it's essentially getting 2 bags in one. So yeah, that was quite a good feature as well. Something that really drew me to the Neverfull to begin with was actually the Damier Azur print. I wasn't necessarily interested in the Neverfull for the longest time. It just wasn't, I'm not a tote bag person, I don't think. Like when I'm out and about and doing activities and things like that, I really don't like having to lug a giant bag around everywhere with me. But I was very drawn to the design of the Damier Azur print in this size, in this specific model, so the Neverfull, because I felt that the vachetta and the canvas ratio was done so nicely and subtly that I felt like it was very sort of almost understated, casual and effortless. A lot of the other Damier Azur bags I felt had quite a lot of fascetta, and I do really like that. However, I do think that sometimes too much fascetta can kind of offset or just wash out the Damier Azur print a little bit. But I felt that, you know, on the Neverfull it was enough canvas to kind of just make the fascetta an accent point, if that even makes sense. But the way that you can differentiate actually between a GM and an MM is that the two little Louis Vuitton kind of embossed writing over here that you can see, this and this, is directly, it should be directly under these two straps. In the MM size, it's actually in the middle somewhere over here. So, you know, if you're buying secondhand, for example, and the owner or the existing owner doesn't really know what size it is, then that's a good indicator for you to tell whether or not it's MM or GM. So yeah, these are the features of the bag. It is quite simple. It's quite a straightforward, very roomy, very useful, large bag. And that was one of the reasons that drew me to it. So I can go into kind of why I decided to purchase this bag in the first place. I was looking for a tote bag. So I have a Speedy 35 in Damier Azur that I was using for travel and things like that. But since around 2016, I believe, was the first time I saw the Neverfull. I think I saw a woman at my internship at work. She got out of her car. I still remember this like it was yesterday. She got out of her car and she just flung the Neverfull over her shoulder very effortlessly and then just trotted off to work. And I thought that that was the epitome of like cool career woman. I was an intern at that point, so obviously my career was still, you know, ahead of me. That was where I wanted to kind of hope to get to and emulate that kind of style, that effortless everyday working kind of situation. So I felt a strong emotional attachment to this style and this print specifically very, very early on. I would say like around 2016 is about 8 years ago, right? Wait, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 6 years exactly. So 6 years ago. So that's when the first Damier Azur kind of planted in my head as a seed. And then over the years, like every single year, and I've been with my boyfriend, for example, for 4-ish years now, he's even noticed that in those 4 years, every single year at around March time, I start to get a little bit of an itch for this bag, you know, because I really wanted to use it on summer vacations. I really wanted to bring it to the airport, stuff like that. Like it was just kind of a holiday happiness lifestyle, like emotional kind of romanticization that I had for this bag. And every single year around that time until late September, I'm kind of debating whether or not I should get this bag, whether I should purchase it, and you know that kind of thing. But you know, something that has always put me, I guess, off of this bag is, you know, I speak to my friends a lot about, you know, the things that I want to purchase. You know, we speak about the same things. It's like one of the main topics that we speak about. And every single one of them said to not get the Neverfull and to find an alternative tote bag. You know, the Neverfull has been done. The Neverfull is everywhere. If you want to be sophisticated and, you know, known as a fashion forward person, don't purchase this bag, things like that. And you know, I spoke about this in my other video, the Givenchy Antigona, because obviously I purchased it in 2021 after the bag was done for a little bit. But I just believe that, you know, there is a reason as to why a lot of people like this bag. And I am a strong believer of if you are thinking about something 6 years later and everyone is saying to go the opposite direction of what you yourself want to, then I think you owe it to yourself to do that and just follow what you like and what you believe in. So that's kind of why, you know, this year I decided to just go for it. It was a little bit of a painful cash thing. I think the bag when I purchased it was £1,500, but when I was first looking at it in like 2017, it was around £800. So definitely it doubled, I think, in price. Ultimately, it's kind of your decision. It's what you're happy with, and it's what brings you joy. And if you are really drawn to this bag and you have an emotional connection with the bag and you are thinking about the usages and all of the scenarios that you can carry this bag, then definitely go for it. That's kind of, you know, the thought process behind it. So yeah, I purchased it in March, so I've had it for about 6 months now. I've used it quite a bit. We've been on so many different trips actually this year. I think this year is definitely the year of like revenge travel. We've been on trips to Cornwall, we went to Spain, we went to, you know, trips to Cornwall again, I think, and then I went to several like hen dos and stuff and used this as an overnight bag, and I have just found it so comfortable and so handy. I feel like, for example, the strap drop, it being around 11 centimeters, I think, or 11 inches, sorry, the strap drop, it fits under my arm very, very easily. And even now when I'm wearing quite a chunky, you know, sweater, it's still quite comfortable. And because the bag itself is quite floppy, you're able to just clamp down on it quite easily and feel like it's an extension of your body, which is basically what I'm looking for in a tote bag. A lot of times, you know, I find that tote bags have a shorter strap drop so that it's a little bit more difficult to maneuver over heavier coats, or even just on a normal kind of day-to-day basis. I like to have some room over here where I can just clutch onto the straps and just like do this so that it doesn't fall off of my shoulders, because I have quite slopey kind of short or small shoulders. So it was difficult for me to find a tote bag that is this comfortable, and I just have to say that this bag is just 100%, it has the hype because of how practical and also at the same time quite understated and beautiful. You can never really stop, I think, counterfeits and stuff like that. Like, there's no way that you can control, and I feel like if that's stopping you from purchasing something that's authentic, that is beautiful and classic because of the counterfeits, that's not really doing the original version any justice, if that makes sense. So that's kind of another kind of little thought process I had as well. So yeah, review wise, very, very comfortable, very, very user friendly. You know, you have that kind of top clip over here that sort of conceals the bag, but definitely not very useful. So I don't really kind of use this as like a thing, my things are going to be super secure kind of bag, but I will, you know, if I'm going to a crowded area, just throw in a t-shirt or something that's quite lightweight on the top of the bag so that it kind of covers it, so that, you know, kind of pickpocketers can't really just know exactly where to go when they're trying to go in. And then I also did purchase this thing from Amazon. This is obviously a bag organizer. It's pretty standard nowadays, especially for a tote bag that's this big, that, you know, your items are prone to slide around within it. But I purchased this. I learned this tip actually off of another YouTube video. This was years ago, so I don't really know which one it was. I really hoped I did, because I could just link them, but essentially I got it from someone else's idea. This is an MM size GM, MM size, so a size smaller than my bag insert. And I did this because I wanted to put this into the bag like this, and for it to still have room on either side. So you can see it still has room on either side, right? And then on that kind of note, you can still cinch in the sides, which was a majority of the ways that I was hoping to wear the bag, is it's cinched in. Because if I'm trying to do this, you know, day-to-day carting it around kind of thing, then I definitely wanted it to not overwhelm my frame, which is a lot of people's complaints about the GM, is that it is fairly large, and it is quite large. But if you can put an MM organizer in, you can still cinch in the side, fit in loads of your things, of course, and then it looks like a smaller, more manageable bag. But I feel like I really liked the depth and the height of the GM as opposed to the MM. The MM sat quite high on my hip when I tried it on, and it just, I'm not tall, but I'm also not very small. I'm 5'7" and a size 10 to 12, so like it wasn't necessarily the kind of oversized casual look that I was trying to emulate. But with the GM, I felt like I could achieve that, but then I can still have it both ways, basically have my cake and eat it too with the MM bag organizer, because then I could just cinch in the sides, still have my organization in, and then, you know, go around my day like that. So yeah, I have literally no stains, no anything. I've put this under, you know, plane seats. I've put this on top of suitcases. It has fallen off a couple times off of my rolly suitcase. Don't recommend doing that, just to save yourself from the panic, but it has fared extremely well. There's no marks or stains or anything. The bottom is completely clean. And what I will say actually about the checkerboard print is that I didn't notice before, because I didn't actually inspect any other Damier Azur pieces before purchasing this bag, but the white is actually speckled with gray or beige as well. So you can see my nail color is quite beige, and you can see the little texture over here, which I found is actually quite interesting because it lends the bag to not be so stark white against gray or navy, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of a softer white from afar, but actually it's a combination of a marled cream and beige check on the white squares, and then on the sort of gray squares it is I think it's dark gray, but a lot of people do also think that it's navy. I don't really know. This is something that I've stared at for a while and still can't make up my mind. I can see how people can see that it's navy, and I do agree to that to an extent, but I think it's more of a gray purple. But again, I feel like everybody, like I think everybody processes colors differently, so definitely it's just a gray blue thing situation. So yeah, this is it. And patina wise, I would say that I really lucked out this year. I live in the UK and we've had a very extremely hot summer, a bit hotter than I would like. However, this also means that there's not a lot of rain, so I was able to just bring this quite hassle-free. But you know, when I purchased this bag, I told myself that this isn't one of the bags that I will baby. I want this to be part of my everyday life. I want it to be part of my travel life. I want it to just be something that, you know, I can take on trips and adventures with me. So I wasn't going to baby this from the offset. Like, I wasn't going to do that. Obviously, the first 2 outings, I was still kind of like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't, you know, that kind of thing. But I definitely got over that, I think, for now. But yeah, there's no kind of rain marks or stains or anything on the handles, as you can see here. And yeah, like I haven't babied it in a sense that, you know, with patina a lot of people, or fascetta, sorry, I keep calling it patina. With fascetta, a lot of people are careful after they moisturize their hands and after they wash their hands that they don't want to touch the fascetta. I didn't find that to be an issue as long as you're not dripping water everywhere onto the fascetta. I think it generally should be able to keep quite well. So yeah, that is the video. I hope that it was quite quick and short and sweet. I know that there's so many Neverfull videos out there, but I just kind of wanted to provide my feedback as well and my thoughts about the bag and a quick 6-month review on how it's wearing so far. I absolutely love it. I think it's definitely going to be a staple piece in terms of travel and luggage and everyday use in my collection at least. And I definitely think, you know, if you're on the fence and you're getting influenced by outside, you know, forces saying that the bag is done and whatever, but you still in your heart feel that it's a bag for you, then I think definitely you owe it to yourself to get it, I think. So yeah, that is the video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!